Hi lovelies, how are you? So lovely to have you here. Today I have been requested to do a very quick beginner's tutorial on head wraps or tichels or turbans or hair wrapping. So what I thought I might do is dedicate a whole separate video that you can always reference back to about where to start. Okay, so here we go. So here I've got a very average cotton scarf or cotton feeling scarf. These are known as pashminas. They're a little bit thicker in texture. This one is folded in half. So what I do is I use the blunt side, so the folded side, and I apply that to the front of my head. Once it's on evenly, what I expect is for the bottom of it to meet with the nape of my neck. Okay, so sometimes what needs to happen to achieve that is to actually adjust the front until the back is where it needs to be. In that case, you will then have to fold the front over for it to sit where you want it to sit. Usually I like, for at least the beginning, for things to be quite flat, because especially with a thicker fabric scarf or the average scarf, it may end up being quite voluminous once it's fully wrapped. The tails are hanging evenly down. Once we're at this stage where it's positioned well here and positioned well here, there's two things you could do from this point. The first thing you can do is go up, and the other thing you can do is go back. So we'll start with this position here. So all I've done is taken two ponytails here, and you can cross them, or you can tie them. Okay, at this point you could be done. Now for me, I've got long hair, so I like to tie it in a high ponytail or bun, or I'll use some sort of shaping device. But today is not about those devices, it's just about the tying, so there's nothing underneath there. The next thing is your design. So essentially, when your tails are equal like this, you can do anything. You can go on one side, the other side, in the middle, do something at the back first. Really, this is the part where you get to be as creative as you possibly can. But I'll just show you what I might do, or might show for an absolute beginner. The first thing is to fold your tail the way you want it to be. So I want this leopard print to show. So all I've done is I've adjusted my tail, so instead of it being sort of all messy like that, I've just neatly tucked everything away and folded it down nicely. Just sort of played with the fabric until it's fairly flat. And then I take the bottom of it just to give myself the opportunity to taut it, so I'm holding it there and pulling it there, so that when I lay it down, it lays down flat. Okay, and there we go. So from here, and what I might do is the same thing on the other side. Just making sure that it's nice and flat. Same thing, just tauting it. By putting your hand there, it's just giving the fabric something to pull off, and it won't move the scarf as a result. Okay, and then you can just tie it off at the back, and you've got yourself your basic turban. Now if I was to do it the other way from the very beginning, that is by going up, the only complication of this is you've got to really be unafraid of the fabric. Okay, so what I do normally, I'll show you from the side, is really pull it so that it's tight against my head. Same on the other side, and you can fix everything as you go. And at the top there's not really anything specific going on yet, it's just whatever the fabric wanted to do. You can usually just cross it over at this point, but don't let it come loose because you might need to start again. So holding on to it the whole time. And at this point, you've already got your feature, the front. Usually the fabric will do the feature up here at random on its own, and you can just tie it off at the back. You can leave it like that, you can put the tie higher on the other side, you can go back and do more features, you can tuck these away in the little folds you've created. With thicker scarves, I just prefer to leave a tail. So that's Pashmina 101. Next is a scarf that I think that anybody who plans to wear a head wrap should have at least one of. In that case, I would say have some basic or neutral colour if you're only going to have one. So basically this is just thin jersey material, or like a t-shirt material. It's not particularly wide, and it is quite thin, you can see through it. This one's sewn up all around, overlocking at the ends, but I would argue that if you couldn't get your hands on a scarf specifically like this, any fabric store will give you this, but without it overlocking at the end, which is fine if you're going to be wearing it on your head because you don't really see the ends anyway. Same idea. We can tie it at the back or cross it over. It also allows you to do a lot more. So for example, just like that, and then you can tie it at the back. You can tuck these away as well. So you've got this sort of look. You can do tie it off on one side. And then what you do then is you tuck away this one. And I would actually feed the next one through and continue the design. So you end up with this sort of look. This can get tucked away as well. Okay, you can kind of do pretty much anything at this point. But what I really love this t-shirt scarf for is the turbans. So do that same thing we did before. It's really, really yanking at the fabric. I'm not really stretching it or anything, I'm just holding it in control and doing that initial crisscross at the front. And you can do it a little bit off center if you don't like it in the middle. Then I crisscross it at the back and just bring the longer one over the side, and then you can just weave through or tuck away your hanging up bits. And because it's all stretchy and sort of pliable, you can kind of take control of it pretty easily. But what would be the easiest thing to do with any thin material, if you're not going to be tying a knot, or even if you are, it's not really that important, is the fact that you can play with it quite easily. So you won't really budge or move like the pashmina does, because it's very light and kind of almost staticky. So I'm just tying it all the way at the end of the, as high up as it'll let me. So like that. Okay, so on the side there, you get this really cute knot, and the rest is just tucked away. So if you don't want to be too flashy, that's fine. You can still have a little interest point without being sort of too complicated or too fancy with it. Okay, and the last thing I'll show you is ways to start with the tichel uneven, or the scarf uneven. Same sort of idea. Because you've got one longer length, you just have a slightly different design that you can do. So we're still getting that initial crisscross looking thing. But I'm just going to hold that there. And now the second one will hold the first one, like that. And then you can do whatever you like with this long tail now. Just another look. So for me, because I've got my hair there, all I've done is I've wrapped that there. If you didn't have the hair to hold it, that's fine. You just keep going around. And you can use that tail to create like a pattern through here. Very easy to do. You just keep on feeding it through. We sort of end up with a kind of a pastry on the side there, but it's quite pretty. In fact, I think that's how I might leave it for the rest of the day. And what I love about this is I know it's going to hold on. I don't have any accessories underneath, as I said. It's just all straight scarf. Same look will work if you have a low bun, no hair, little hair, lots of hair. It'll just change the shape of this bigness at the back. And that's the same thing. You can make it tighter, looser, depending on how you like the look. Alright guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope that answered some questions. I'm always looking for questions, inspirations, ideas of how I can help the ladies out there looking to tie their hair like this. I think it looks really cool, especially in Australia. We're heading into winter. This is such a cute alternative to a hat as well, and it will keep your head pretty warm and your hair will be nice and hidden if you have a bad hair day. This is so cute. The scarf will always behave pretty and will make any outfit look pretty complete. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. I hope you can hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you like as well. And if you want to reach me on my social media, it will be in the description below. Send me a picture of your scarf. What can I do with this? Maybe I can demonstrate specifically to answer to your questions as well. See you on the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye.